And folks, it's me all over George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube, folks. So this is going to be a busy weekend for me. This is going to be my second interview. I got one more on Sunday. I got another one later next week also. Folks, January is just about over. We just got one more day. Saturday will be the last day. We will be a full month into 2026. It will be a full month into the new year. Time is flying. There's things going on, things happening. Next month is for me, it's Black History Month, and then also another month is a holiday for sucker called Valentine's Day. That's a holiday made for suckers. So you buy her all this stuff, and then she gives you the same thing she gives you every other day. So ladies, hey, we want something. Hey, it could be anything. Maybe another woman. You can go buy. Do what you want to do. So we have here the lovely lady, and she competed. She made her bodybuilding debut back in 2024. At the Battle for Texas. That is a very popular show. It's also one of the shows that's a regional qualifier in Texas. She's from Texas. She's also a nurse and a firefighter. She runs her own business. And we'd like to welcome the lovely Mrs. Lindsay Contreras to the show. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, George.
Not a problem, not a problem. So this is a question I always ask you ladies. What got you started in the sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Yeah, so I've been in the scene of health and fitness basically my whole life. My dad was actually a bodybuilder. He competed back in the day. So I grew up in the gym going to Stroud's Fitness with my dad at 5 a.m. And that's just kind of how the ball got rolling for me into bodybuilding. And then I actually became a nurse, and kind of a backstory here. Became a nurse. I got super burned out in nursing during COVID, and my health just kind of started to decline, and stopped putting any energy towards my health and fitness, started eating like trash all the time, and just didn't really have the energy or motivation to get back into the gym. So just things kind of started declining then. And so with the new career change, I wanted to become a firefighter paramedic, and had to really make a lifestyle change and really turn things around to get into shape to be able to pull people out of burning buildings and take care of patients in the ambulance and take care of them. So that's what really got me kind of started. Obviously, I have a history with my father being in bodybuilding, but that's what really ignited the spark for me to get back into shape and take care of myself and get back into the gym. And then just slowly started building that momentum, and was like, hey, I'm going to start a fitness coaching business. So with the fitness coaching business, I decided to go all in on bodybuilding and see what I could really do and put my full potential towards the sport and actually see what I could do. And so here we are today, and it's been a couple of years, I'd say about 3 to 4 years, that I've actually been taking things seriously, but the last 2 years with a coach actually working towards competing. So that's kind of my story, and here I am.
Well, that's a pretty good story. Your dad, he competed back in the day. It's not like this. A little girl's biggest hero is her daddy, and for us boys, our biggest hero, our greatest love is our mother. Me during the pandemic, my mother, she had gotten the virus and she passed away because I was taking care of her for a long time. And I know it's tough because you nurses, and for anybody who served as a nurse or a firefighter, I would say thank you for your service, because that's a sacrifice you make on behalf of us citizens. When you go in there and you help us in the hospitals, because I've been to the hospitals quite a few times in my lifetime, and also firefighters, you are a very central part to our community. And Strauss Gym, I know a lady who works there. That's Tony McMurtry.
Oh yeah. Basically, I grew up going to Stroud's Fitness, and Kirk and Sam Stroud. I knew them, the owners of the gym, for a long time until Kirk passed away. And the love of bodybuilding truly lives in that gym. I fully believe that.
Yeah, bodybuilding is a sport where it's extreme aspects of it, but still, there's some things you can gain from it, especially when you're going through your issues, eating and health issues. It helped you, gain new perspective, especially in life. So now you still are working as a fighter, or you still focus more on your business now?
I am actually, as of the last year and a half, I am full time with the business. So I served about, I'd say, 5 years in the hospital working as an ER nurse, and then about 3.5 years as a firefighter paramedic. And now I've done business full time for a year and a half. It's been an awesome ride.
So yes, because there's no HIPAA laws. So is there anything you don't have to name names? What was the strangest thing you ever saw as a nurse?
Oh, oh my gosh. Probably we saw someone that got stabbed multiple times, major blood transfusions. They were brought in via ambulance, and so that was probably the craziest thing I saw. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. A lot of surgery. They needed a trauma surgeon, and we weren't capable at that facility to provide that. We were just the closest ER that they could get to. So, unfortunately, but that was probably the craziest thing I saw as a nurse. I've seen some crazy things as a paramedic, but yeah.
What was the crazy thing you saw as a paramedic? Is again, there's no HIPAA law against it.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't actually on the scene. I actually had just left work, and so I was told by the crew. I actually, for some reason, I had to needed off that day, and so they let me go home. I was supposed to be working, but I was told the story. There was a car that basically went underneath an 18-wheeler, and it took the top half of the car off. So unfortunately, the gentleman that was driving the car was decapitated, and his head was sitting on the pavement. Like someone literally just cut it right here, and his head was literally sitting like his neck was on the pavement. The rest of his body was in the car. So that was the craziest thing I've heard of as a paramedic. But I again, I wasn't there, but I've seen some interesting things on my own.
That made me think about you heard a movie or TV show called The Highlander. There can be only one. You take off the head and you gain your power and the quickening. I remember when it said, "I know everything, I see everything." That is a classic. I think they're also going to do a new Highlander movie with Superman, Henry Cavill. He's supposed to be playing Connor McLeod. But I can't wait to hear. I love those Highlander movies. So being a woman in the sport of bodybuilding, what's your thoughts on the sport and really what gives you that passion? Because what, again, it's a tough sport, especially when it comes out for y'all women. You have to develop muscle that most women don't have. You have to train, work out, be consistent and disciplined. And also it could be a lot of sacrifices you have to make, especially in your personal life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there are definitely things that you can't do as a bodybuilder that a lot of people like to enjoy, But hey, the way I see it, this sport is all about personal development, and honestly, it impacts every single area of your life. So with that dedication, consistency that you pour into yourself, you start noticing you start excelling in other areas like business, career. Obviously, personal relationships do kind of take a little bit of a hit as well especially during prep when you get hangry and tired and you don't have the energy to go, on dates with your husband or significant other, those types of things. But with the right person, it works and they support you. So it's honestly led me to a point where, there have been a lot of positive changes that have come out of bodybuilding. There have been some interesting things I never thought I would run into as a female competitor with, obviously people calling you a man online when they see you talking or they hear your voice. It's probably one of the craziest things. I've been called sir so many times like this in public. I'm like, okay. It doesn't bother me. At first it bothered me, but it's something I've gotten used to, and I've just accepted it as kind of a fact that comes with it. So
Here's the thing is, you are a woman. And like I said, you're married, you have a husband. I know people talk about some ladies that they might consider them because they're doing something that's not very feminine. And there's always an accusation of being a man or being transgender, but you're a lovely lady. And I have eyes to tell that you are a woman. Now, sometimes you can tell the difference between the ones that are like, it's not like your voice sounds like you're Vin Diesel and you're going, a win is a win, a yard is a mile, like that. You have a nice, decent voice. There's some women I've known who are famous women who have kind of deep, raspy voice. To me, I think that kind of sexy, But if it's not too much where you sound like, you're you should be on the Fast and the Furious, that's cool. And the thing is that people, we do something that's out of their comfort zone. And I'm like this: if you don't like something, don't say nothing. Mind your business, move on. You can focus on other things. Here we shout out to my man here, Josh Simpkins from the Women's Bodybuilding Empire Nation. Shout out to him. Says, happy Friday, George and Lindsay. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for coming through. So now you competed back in 2024. You did the Battle of Texas. Why did you take some time off? I mean, it's like I said, the time off after Texas.
Yeah, so Obviously, I did get the national qualification, and my coach at the time, we had a conversation at the show. Nationals was the next week, so it was really a toss up. You know, I could have gone to nationals. I could have just gotten more feedback from the judges there, but I really wanted we really wanted to bring a package that was like, okay, we're ready to compete at the pro level. So that was the thought process behind it, in taking the time to grow. And we could have competed the week after, but I want to bring that package this year that hopefully will say, hey, this is a pro level physique and we're ready to compete at the pro level.
Well, that's pretty smart. I know I recently saw some competitors to one lady. I think your coach is who's your coach?
Justin Jacoby.
Yes, I interviewed one of quite a few of his competitors. One of his competitors, Hayden Mola. She also made her debut. Was it a few months ago at the Atlantic Coast? Then she did the nationals and she won. Great personality, great person. Served our country in the military. Crazy abs. You know, her and another one of your stablemates, Montana Frey, who I also interviewed a couple of times. She has a great set of abs. I think he's really knowing what he's doing when it comes to y'all ladies. Like I've interviewed, not just Casey McJunkin, Eleni Politis. Also interviewed recently April Cosamato, and I met April when I went to Tampa. My friend, her name is Eunice. She's also in Texas. She run a company of Bad Rap, and I met her there. That was her debut. She didn't compete for nearly 11 years, and she cracked top 10 in women's open and won the Masters 40 class. I know April's talking about maybe making her return. I know Casey's thinking about competing. I know some of the other ladies want to take more time to grow. But he's gained a good stable of ladies.
Yeah, we call him the king of women's physique. He really knows how to bring ladies in diced. He knows how to build that strong physique and that base, and he really knows how to prep these ladies. So I'm super excited to see what this year is going to bring for me too. And all the teammates, like he brings amazing packages to the stage. It's just amazing to see. All these ladies you're talking about, highly respect them. We have such a great team that we're working with, and everybody's so supportive on the team. Other athletes are supporting other athletes, and that's what I really love about this sport and this team specifically of working with Justin. It's been awesome.
It's good to have a good relationship with your coach, but also at the same time remember that you're the one who's putting a lot of the work, and also understanding that it's good to have that relationship, also have the boundaries, because sometimes some coaches may get too much involved into the competitors' lives. Too much control. Sometimes I've talked to ladies, I reach out and say, hey, you want to do an interview? Say, let me talk to my coach. Well, this is, your coach can take care of your, when it comes to your other stuff like your training. This is about you and me talking, have a conversation about yourself, but that's your choice. Anyway, folks, while we have Lindsay here, we're going to do this. We're going to jump to her social media for a little bit. Her links in the description of this, live. If you want to reach out to her and talk to her and support her, or someone interested in it, sponsorship help for a lot of these athletes, reach out and generate interest. But guys, she's a lovely lady. She has a husband. I don't want to hear nobody saying they're selling some crazy shit. No D pics. You're sick freak. I know. One of my crimes is I am a muscle hurt smell, and I know how these guys think. They see you pumped up, ripped with women to get a little excited. There's an old smoke saying, "Well, your ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard." But be respectful. Reach out and genuine interest and support. So here we go. We're gonna jump into her social media. Links are in the description. You want to check her out. You want to follow her. So here she is right here, and this is the video from the Battle of Texas where she won her regional qualification.
Please take the second place medal and present it to our second place finisher, Ariana Jordan. And please take the first place medal and present it to our first place finisher, Lindsay. Medals on, look straight ahead, big smile. Round up by some of the cameras. Thank you, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our women's bodybuilding open heavyweight class.
Well, congratulations. You won a women's body open heavyweight, and also you did women's physique too.
I did. I won second place in the open for women's physique.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just won second place women's physique in the open category, open class.
What is that experience like for you? Just like I said, this was your first show, and then you come in, you win in one class, and you do pretty good in another.
Yeah, it was really a surreal moment. I got hooked on the show day. It was awesome. So we had a really great time. Was really proud of what we brought in just for the first show, and looking forward to making some changes based on the feedback that we have implemented this last year. So it was really good to get that feedback to know what I need to work on and bring that to the stage this year.
What was the feedback you got from the judges?
Feedback overall was more size, of course, and then conditioning on the lower body to match upper body, specifically the posterior. So basically hamstrings and glutes, bringing those up to par with conditioning to match upper.
Yeah, I think that's one thing. I think with a lot of ladies, you have to. With women, y'all are naturally well-rounded in the high-end parts, and sometimes that's the thing you have to work on the most. Most definitely, size is very important when it comes to certain divisions. I think with physique, you shouldn't have too much size. You should be more of athletic build. It's one thing when you look at women's bodybuilding compared to physique. I've seen ladies right now that who should be doing women's bodybuilding but are in physique right now. I've seen women in figure who should be doing physique. I've seen bikini competitors who should do figure. Like, do you see that yourself as a competitor? Like, when you on stage or we see other bodybuilders, you see like, you know what, the lines are getting blurred between the divisions.
Absolutely. I've seen a handful of that myself, and honestly for us, we really didn't know which category I was going to fit into. We had an idea that women's physique was possibly going to be the way to go. Just needed that conditioning to come in, but there's also that potential for the crossover to women's bodybuilding just due to, the upper body size and just size overall. And I guess the aesthetics, the aesthetics really fit there. So actually, I'm really curious to see how we look prepped this year. See how that goes.
Yeah, because I think with women's bodybuilding has you need those full round muscle belly, especially in the shoulders and arms. With physique, you have to be more slender, conditioned, tighter waist. It's the same. Like some people, like I've learned that people tell me that, George, when you look at it, it's the difference when you see when you see them like on stage compared to when you see them up close and personal. I've seen quite a few ladies up close and personal. And here she is swinging on a swing. Where was this at?
This was at Turks and Caicos. We went this January to take kind of like a pre-prep trip with a couple of my best friends. Actually, Michelle McNamee is a figure pro. It's one of my best friends there. Us posing on the water trampoline. So just a kind of a little pre-prep getaway before things get locked in for the year.
Yeah, I recognize her from her back, that tattoo in that back. Wow. I mean, I know she's one of other Justin's clients. Just crazy. I mean, I feel like she can do well in women's physique in the future, where she can put on a little more size in the lower half. But her back and condition is crazy.
Yeah, they don't call her the Lat Queen for nothing. But she was actually, fun fact, she was my first coach, and she prepped me for Battle of Texas. Actually.
Oh, that's great. Now you're still good friends. Good, she's working with you and working with Justin. And also she probably helps you with some little advice every now and then, being she has coach, she knows a lot about your body, and here she is with her. This is her man proposing to her. What's his name?
This is Josh.
Joshua. I mean, how long y'all been together now?
Oh gosh, 10, like almost 11 years, but we've been married for 3.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, y'all could probably have some beautiful babies.
That's in the plan. That's in the plan for sure.
Does he like to train and work out with you too, or he ever has his interest in becoming a bodybuilder himself?
He does actually. He's been living the lifestyle of a bodybuilder. He just has not competed due to his work schedule and all the things. It's just he's a pilot, so scheduling and eating is kind of an interesting thing for him. But he loves the sport as well. So he's essentially a bodybuilder. He just doesn't compete at the moment, but it's possible. He's talked about possibly doing a show, depending on how his work schedule looks and those types of things too.
Being working for a major airline and piloting, it can be a lot of time, and and you're away from home for a long amount of times, and you don't have like a set schedule. And that's one thing about being a bodybuilder. It's important to have that set schedule where you can figure out when you want to eat, when you can train. It's a and you have to be consistent with it. Also, rest and recovery is very important because you need to sleep. You need to get find time to maybe fix some things here and there, like go get yourself a massage, whatever else to help you out in that part of recovery. And that's hard for being a pilot. Uh, this is a video of her friend. You know, uh, I mean, I can't help myself. I'm just you ladies excite me. Wow. I just but it's about you here, and like I said, you look really good. I mean, what you feel like is your best physical attributes?
I feel like I'm known for the biceps. That's kind of my thing. It's kind of a running joke that Michelle and I have. I love arm day. It's my favorite, favorite workout to do. So I love training biceps. I really just want to have the biggest arms I can get, like personally. That's my goal. So that, and I love back. I love training back. Not so much a fan of legs, but we do them because we need to do them.
Yeah, here she is dressed as Harley Quinn. Oh yes, Harley. Yes, you are my Harley Quinn. Oh, my queen of chaos. And there your man is the joke. Not my least favorite. That's it looks like the what's the face Joker from Suicide Squad. I was a big fan of that Joker. He was kind of but and mine is always going to be Heath. He is the best. I will honestly say, and I understand leg day is that day that not all bodybuilders love, because I've talked to somebody who said they love their leg day because it's like they love it because and I say, look at you, weird,
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes it's, again, with the sport, like, this is what I love about bodybuilding. It's pushing yourself to do those things that are a little bit uncomfortable, and that's honestly where the real growth happens, is pushing yourself through those leg days, or the least favorite exercises, the least favorite workouts. That's where I found it's like, hey, proving to yourself every single time that, hey, I can do this, and I can push myself to do things that I don't really like to do because they need to get done.
I think you have to have that mentality, because when you get into the sport, you have to do it as a passion. And then the time and investment, and not much as a sacrifice, it's an investment on gaining the right look, especially on the stage, and depending on the division you're gonna fall in, physique or women's bodybuilding, either one. And also just being consistent. Because when everybody think about bodybuilding, they think about, I just pop some steroids and take some pills and I just get muscles. But again, it's about more than that. It's about following a diet, sticking to your regimen, recovery, rest, consistent discipline. I've had people tell me that, this, George, if people took the stuff I took, but don't still follow protocols I do, they're gonna look like shit.
Yeah. Those drugs, they're not going to go to the gym for you. They're not going to eat the diet for you. It comes down to the person. Just like you said, I've seen people that are on gear that should not be on gear, but they're not actually taking care of the diet, or they're not training to the max potential. And, it's one of those things.
It's a process. Here we got a comment from my man. Justin says, Joshua says, what's your favorite cheat meal?
Oof. Maybe a little controversial, but I don't go for one burger. I usually go for two. Usually from Five Guys, I go for two bacon burgers with barbecue sauce and a Cajun fry, and then a milkshake usually after, or warm cookies with ice cream. I love sweets.
I gotta like it because not a lot of people put barbecue sauce on their burgers. I do, because I used to put ketchup, but then barbecue sauce just has a nice tang to it. It goes, because the burger is beef, so it goes great with it. And sweets, yes, I know. I love sweets. I'm a fat man. I was out today. I picked a few things. I got some cookies and a box of those little Davy donut sticks. And I just ate it was a couple hours ago. I ate a Snickers bar. It was the big one, not the little one, because you want it. Yeah, it's that thing. Everybody has that food that really gets excited about, especially when you're prep, when you are on a heavy diet. We're eating nothing but quinoa and asparagus and rice and chicken and and you get that, especially you get that desire for something, especially we just had Christmas just passed. And I know you're spending time with your family, you get to enjoy that time. Like you talk about your dad. What about your rest of your family? Are they very supportive of your bodybuilding?
Oh yeah, my mom's probably my biggest fan when it comes to cheering me on. I guess you guys probably heard her screaming in the video. I have two younger sisters that are identical twins, super supportive. They're also fitness coaches, and they love going to the gym and training and living the lifestyle. So they're very, more petite, the more petite side of things, just staying toned and healthy. But my family's super, super supportive.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
staying tone, tone. Like I just want to get tone. I don't get as beefy as you, Lindsay. I don't want to get as big. But
Yep.
everybody finds something out of the sport that really inspires them. And, it's good to have that support from your family and your husband, because most women that I talk to, quite a few ladies talk to me, because family may not understand it because it's so extreme. It's not the ordinary sport. If you look at sports like football, basketball, baseball, those sports are very mainstream. Bodybuilding, it's not as worldwide, but I think it's worldwide, but it's not as popular we follow some things going around. Some go around in the IFBB with women's bodybuilding. I'm a big supporter of that division. Women's physique, I've been kind of big supporter of that one. I used to call it watered down women's bodybuilding. I've interviewed ladies in fitness and figure, also bikini. Also interviewed a couple ladies in. I don't want to name this. It's just excuse me, fit model. It offends my senses. I have nothing against the competitors, but I have something against it because you know what it is. It's how one lady told me like this. It's a basic bitch division.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because you know what? It takes a lot of time and work and effort to do this. And those ladies do put in their time, work and effort. But here's the thing like this. We talked about earlier how divisions are evolving. If you look how we're in bodybuilding, it was the first division for all women's divisions. How physique and figure and even fitness are starting to evolve. And you bring in a division that's going to end up evolving like the division you're supposed to be replacing. Like back in the day, you didn't have lightweight women's bodybuilding, IFBB, but lightweight, heavyweight classes. But then eventually they changed and dropped that.
Yeah, so much evolving. Honestly, Fit Model is great for people that are starting out that want to kind of dip their toes into the world and see what it's all about, and see if it's maybe something they want to take to the next level and move up to the other divisions and classes. So I think it has its purpose for people that are like, hey, maybe I should try this out, and maybe I should see, if you don't necessarily fit into the bikini category or the figure category just yet. So more so kind of like an entrance into the community, I guess, or the sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back then it was just women's bodybuilding, and then here comes fitness and figure, and then physique. Some ladies got in through figure or maybe bikini, and you have wellness now, and those ladies are a different level. Like for you as a competitor, what was that feeling that first time? Because this is your first time on stage. What was that feeling for yourself? Because you got to think about it. You walk out on stage half butt naked, you get slapped on with baby oil and tanning, and you got these lights on you.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, probably the biggest culture shock was not knowing you're going to be, when you get your tan, like walking in completely naked, everyone's naked around you. You're like, oh, we're really doing this. Okay. We're going to stand in front of this fan naked and cold and with the tan, and you're just freezing. So that was a funny experience for me, but really stepping out on a stage, I was surprised with myself because I thought I was going to be more, I guess, anxious, nervous, but actually the confidence just really kicked in at that point. It's like, hey, we brought something great to the stage. Let's go make a debut. Let's go have fun with it. So honestly, it was just super fun being up on stage, and it made me get addicted to the sport. I'm like, I want to do this again, and so here we are. Like we're striving for more every single time. So I will say I'm very surprised. I was expecting to be nervous, but actually just went up there and had a blast, had a really great time. Didn't really look into the audience. The lights were so blinding in my face. I was like, okay, all I see are lights. So there's nothing to be worried about. I'm just up here.
Yeah, because you're doing something that most people wouldn't do. To go out there and bare your all, to bare your body. I've heard stories about the whole thing with the tanning because it's very cold. That spray tan is very cold. I don't know if I could be a guy working like this, like I don't want to be spray tanning some dudes. Like I'll be like if I see someone like like some ladies who I follow who are out there and you'll be like. Let's see, who's that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, I was distracted by the chick over there with giant jugs. So, so that's why guys like me not to work there. You gotta be very professional, understanding. And that's the thing is that everybody's experience is different. Be it your first time as a competitor, as a bodybuilder, first time as a pro. I've heard ladies told me that they were very excited. They was feel like it was their purpose to be on that stage. Some ladies have told me that they got a little tipsy because they had to, it's like you get that stage fright because you're afraid that they like you might if you're a division like figure or bikini or wellness wearing high heels, you might fall, twist a leg.
Oh yeah. I'm thankful that I don't have to wear heels because your girl doesn't really wear heels on a regular basis, so that would be interesting to see me up there in heels.
Well, no, it work for you. Like I said, if you look at the girls in figure now, some of them are crossover between physique and figure, and and just it's about what fits the criteria of that division. If you have the great like your friend Michelle, she has crazy lats, wide shoulders. Yeah, she's a figure competitor, but some say she can probably double dip if she wanted to. As you've been competing as long, is there anybody in the sport other than like people like Michelle or some of the other ladies that you really admire, respect their commitment, their passion as an athlete?
Oh yeah, Anastasia Ryder. I really, really do look up to her. Super down to earth, super communicative with me, just supportive, overall. So really, really do look up to her. But honestly, I've got to give it to Michelle. She's really shaped my outlook and just the passion that she pours into the sport. She lives, breathes, sleeps bodybuilding. And so that has really just ignited the passion in me, and getting to train with her. She's my training partner for the most part. So it's really created just something special between us as friends. And it's really cool to get to do things that you love with people that you love.
That's good. I mean, doing this content, there's so many ladies that I've done interviews with and ladies I follow on social media who I'm a fan of. Some, I just can't name them all, but one particular one that really sticks out for me, and she's my girlfriend, and that is Andrea Shaw.
Yes.
I just think she's so amazing. She brought a new level to the sport of women's bodybuilding and just bodybuilding in general. She's from ladies that have met her and who have known her and people have interviewed who know her. They really tell she's very personal. And this is one thing what makes it so great about like to quote my other half, if you give us something, never do it for free. And I often say this, like sometimes ladies send me some stuff. I got a friend, her name is Eunice. And Eunice is also, again, she's in Texas. She runs her own company called Bad Rap. The moniker is Big and Defined, Ripped and Pump. And they've been doing right now, they'll be also sponsoring the upcoming Triple O Dynasty. I'm also helping, sponsoring the upcoming jacket for that. She was at the Olympia back in 2023. And she bought me this issue of Muscle Development. And it has Andrea on the cover. She sent it the week after my 50th birthday. And I keep pulling this out because you know what? This is what tells me what keeps me doing this and interview ladies like yourself. And when the champ tells me, she thanks me and she appreciates it. She signs this. And this is all the stuff I get, but this was the most important. So I know I gotta put it in the glass or something. I got it. But I just want to keep it close to me. I know, but I want to keep it close to me. It's so beautiful. I actually remember first. I actually saw her in person when she was guest posting. I went to my first Bible show in 2022. That was Savannah Pro. That's Linda Marie Savannah Pro. She was there guest posting. She looked great. She was just maybe 3 weeks out from the Rising Phoenix. And she looked amazing, even though she was still soft and feminine, but she still looked great.
Oh yeah, and then actually another competitor that I really do look up to, Ashley Jones.
Oh, Ashley.
She was at the Battle of Texas when I competed backstage. We got a picture with her. I'll have to dig it out from the archives, but she's so down to earth, so supportive, and just graceful, as a competitor.
Well, yesterday I just had an interview last night with one of the clients, Shaquila O'Neal, and we talked about Ashley. And I got to meet Ashley when she was at Tampa last year. This is me. Yes, I look like fat bastard. I'm gonna eat the baby. So and she's amazing. I mean, number 2 in the world. She even a friend of mine, Alex, he was at the Olympia last year, and he saw her. She shouted me out. She appreciated me. People like her and Andrea, ladies I met and got to speak with. I appreciate their support of what I'm doing, because this content for me is something that gives me purpose. Like I said again, I took care of my mother for 5-6 years, and it was a lot. If you knew anybody, as a nurse, you see how it is when you take care of somebody who's older, who's sick, and sometimes it can be a stress on family members. But I started doing this because I was already a fan before. Because back in the day, my older brother used to collect the muscle mass, used to lift weights. He was a football star here in our hometown, and I really got into bodybuilding because it was really fun. But you ladies, something about y'all just ignites my other side of me. It's that's why I say I admit my crime, Miss Contreras. I am a muscle person, no. But doing this content, I get to learn more about the parameters, the aesthetics, and also what drives women like yourselves to compete in a sport which seems very masculine by most sports standards.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is always that level of grace and femininity, if I can speak, that we bring, so it's all about that grace and balance. Obviously we do have more muscle mass than the average female, but presenting that package and still including the femininity side of things is really cool to see too in the sport.
That's the thing. That's always the thing, that you gotta maintain both your femininity and your muscularity as a competitor. Men are allowed to be muscular, get as big as they want. Guys like one guy I got to meet is the current Mr. Olympia, Derek Lungsford. Guys like Big Rami, guys like Samson Dua. Classic guys used to grow up with, like guys like Schwarzenegger, Lee Haney, and Ronnie Coleman. But women, you are in this little bubble. Even if you're a bikini competitor and you have a little muscle, people are always going to make judgments about y'all. I mean, again, you're an athlete and this is your sport. And the part of the process is to gain the muscle, to gain the size, because you want to compete with people who are sharing your same passion.
Oh yeah. And it really is a community, and a supportive community. Obviously there are some interesting moments as far as rivalries go. But for the most part, it's really cool to see that camaraderie in the sport and just see women supporting other women. And I saw a quote online over the last couple of weeks that said, it's weird because in bodybuilding, especially in women's bodybuilding, you're going to meet some competitors online that will cheer for you louder than anybody in your life. Even though you don't know them, they'll still cheer for you and support you from online, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, Anastasia, I had her on my channel a couple of times. I interviewed her right after she got a pro card at Nationals back in 2023, and right now she's a wonderful young lady. She's put up a fight for her division. That's women's bodybuilding. She got to go for me out there, folks. You can go to her Anastasia. You want to click and send somebody to her. I'm broke this end of the month, so I'll send her some later. And it's good to have that support, but also rivalries. Yeah, currently right now the rivalry between the last this Miss Olympia and the last Miss Olympia. But I think that's what something people like to see, that like in fighting is or in sports, rivalries bring people into sport. What do you feel like could really help bodybuilding get attention, to get more people to be interested in it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of this comes down to awareness. Awareness. So many women are scared to lift weights. They're scared. They think they're going to turn into Miss Olympia overnight. But they don't know the amount of work and effort that it takes to get there. So it's more so just the level of awareness, I believe, that brings it out. But also, the figure division has been, I feel like, very eye catching for a lot of women, because you still have that more of a balance of the femininity side. I can't say this word today.
Just say being feminine.
Feminine side. Yes, there we go. the feminine side with the grace and flow, I feel like has become very popular amongst women that are scared, to lift weights and get into bodybuilding. So I think that's kind of brought in a lot of eyes to the sport itself, which is nice. I feel like the awareness and honestly, social media has been a big help too, showcasing, what bodybuilding actually looks like and is for a lot of females.
Yeah, social media can be both a weapon or a tool. I know with conversations I have with ladies, they use it because it helps them get attention. It's also sponsorship because some sponsors go by how much your social media is like. Are you sponsored, or you ever been interested in being sponsored?
I currently do not have any sponsors. I would be interested depending on the sponsor. Sounds like a really good opportunity, especially obviously with the sport being how expensive it is these days, everything that goes into it. So yeah, I'd definitely be interested depending on if it's a good fit for sure.
Yeah, because again, it is a expensive sport. We look at it because you're still an amateur. You might have to do two classes. I mean, two divisions in a show, and that's a cost right there. The travel to the shows, you're paying. You got to pay your coach, your suits right there, your food, your hair, your makeup. Everything that's involved with it. The tan. For the guys, they have their expenses. They have to eat more food, the show day, the gear to take. But when it comes to show day, your ladies expense a lot more high. Guys got to put on a pair of banana hammocks and boy shorts and slap on some tan. That's it. You ladies, there's a lot more to it because you have to present this. Like, you gotta get your makeup done. You have to look very presentable. You have to, even though you look like you're the Walking Dead, you got the death face, you're dried out. You just, you look like you're haggard, you're tired, but you still have to go out there and just present this look of muscle and femininity. And that's a hard work, tightrope to walk.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's, honestly going up there sometimes, well, I say sometimes, I've only been on stage like for one show at this point, but a couple of different classes, right? You're so focused on like just the energy itself to pose that you have to sometimes remember and like remind yourself, hey, smile and give yourself the grace and flow to present that full package.
Like, walk out there and do like the princess wave, like your Princess Diana, saying, that's what you got to do. Because that's the thing is, we as the fans, we come to see y'all ladies, and again, we don't understand the tired, the hungry, the hangry, the dehydration. We see these beautiful, amazing, ripped bodies, and don't understand what the work it took you to get there. Especially after your last show, like. As you said again, you love burgers. What was that thing you and Josh? Because I know Josh was there. He said, "Baby, let's go eat. What you want for your last show dinner, baby? What you want? What you want?"
I went straight for a burger and a milkshake. Literally, Rodeo Goat here in Texas makes some of the craziest burgers. So good. They're huge. They're huge burgers. Great fries. I was like, we're going here. And then of course, I had to get a drink. I was looking forward to that drink.
He's like Josh said, one more sip, baby. We get ready tonight. You get that. Yeah.
He's like, you need to have two more of those. So I'm like, all right, let's go.
We'll have a good time. Because
got some food, got some energy, got some alcohol. It was honestly a lot of fun. We went out with my crew, Michelle, her fiance, my family, all the friends that came in from out of town to support. We all went out, had that burger. So much fun. Went straight for a cookie though. After you guys saw that picture, I wanted sweets more than anything else. I had that cookie first.
I remember I interviewed April last month, and when she talked about where she was after the national, she had got it was a tin full of muffins, and she was eating some and passing some out. Not April. I mean, Montana. She told me that, and yeah, it's just especially when you're on that prep, and I know Justin takes care of your signing your cheat meal. He does up your diet, and then your rest of your family's like, hey, come over for dinner, Lindsay, and they got a whole lot of spread and everything out, but you're right now, you're on your diet, and then it's calling you. It's like Pookie New Jack City. You heard that movie? It's like, it be calling my name, man. It be calling me. It's calling me. But that's the thing is that you have to fight that temptation. And I've talked to ladies where because of that, sometimes friendships and relationships change because again, it's sports very extreme. It can take up your time, your life. You can't, like I said, you got a chance to do a little drinking, but you can't drink all the time. You can't go to the bar all the time. You have to rest. You also have your business, and and that's something that really inspires you to make those goals towards your future.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the friends and family thing, they are supportive, but there have been moments where, they're like, "Hey, let's go on vacation. Let's go to Mexico." I'm like, "Hey, I can't. I'm in prep. You just can't at that point. You could really try to make it work, but there's just so many factors that go into traveling, obviously, and then other things or celebrations and people, especially at the fire station. This was a big thing because I was starting prep or about to start prep right before I actually left to take business full time. Guys are like, "You can't have just one bite of this brownie. You can't have this one meal with us." And I would be sitting at the table with my, chicken and rice and or whatever else other meal I was eating and watching them all eat. They're like, "You can't eat this one bite. Just try the ribs that we made, please. Like, you're offending us. We made this food. Come on." And I'm like, "Well, sorry guys. Like, I'll eat with y'all next week." I tried to make my cheat meals sometimes at the station with the guys just to participate and be there with them. And honestly, they would take it to the next level. If they knew I was getting a cheat meal to eat with them, they would make the craziest meals, make sure we had dessert, the whole nine. So it's fun. But for the most part, people do understand, especially if they're around you long enough. They know you have goals to reach and you're super dedicated. But there are times when people are like, they just don't understand the lifestyle and they're like, "Hey, you can't break your diet. You can't have this drink, this martini with us. Like, come on, we're going out for drinks." I'm like, "I'll go, but I'm not going to drink. I have to stick to my plan." So it's more about not necessarily about taking, like, looking at things like I can't have this, but more so kind of retraining my brain over the last year. And this was something Michelle actually taught me. You can have fun without food and without alcohol. It's about the experiences and the time you get to spend with people. So that's been kind of a something that I've been, experiencing or working on for the last couple of years. And a lot of lifestyle changes have gone into that too. Used to go to the lake all the time in the summer. And with the lake, I always associated, okay, we're going to drink beer. We're going to drink a lot of beer. We're going to get wasted on the lake. But now it's turned into, okay, we're going to go to the lake. We're going to have some fun in the sun. We're going to chill. Don't need alcohol to have fun.
Yeah, I don't drink myself. And the funny thing about this, I used to work at a club. I worked in a gentleman's club, as they called it. And, I used to work at a gas station. I used to stock up beer and stuff. I remember when I was younger, I used to sip a little bit, but I never had a taste for it, and that's the thing is, you don't want to derail your progress, especially by, like a drink or a burger or, your mom might cook a nice like apple pie, with some a pie a la mode with a little ice cream on the side, because you want to achieve your goal. You want to step on the stage and say, "You know what, I'm an IFB pro," and I made those sacrifices. I know a lady told me one time she went to a wedding of her, I think it was a friend of a daughter of hers, and she couldn't eat anything there. She bought her own food. At a wedding, you had a wedding where you had what's the everything? It's either fish, steak, or chicken, and you can't eat that because even if it's chicken, it's not cooked the way too much spices and too much sauces on there. It has to be plain and very not too very flavorful. So now this has been a whole year since just about almost 2 years since you last competed. What's the plan for this year?
So this year, if everything goes according to plan, we're looking at the NPC Republic of Texas, July 11th, for the regional show. And then, if everything goes well there, we're looking at USA's for nationals, for that pro card.
USA, that's a popular show. I'm quite a few ladies who got their pro cards at that show. Also, there's, I think, after that, if you feel like it's always North Americans, there's the Olympia amateurs. There's another show, but I think it's before the USA's. It's the Miss International. It's exclusively women's bodybuilding pro qualifier. It's part of Chicago Pro. Even though this year Chicago Pro is not going to have women's bodybuilding, I'm not too happy about that. But the reason why I support this because one guy, anytime I bring his name up, I got it to. His name is Mr. Jake Wood. Yo, Jake! I want that money. I want that gun. He runs the Olympia. He runs Regional Strength. I mean, he gave women's bodybuilding a fighting chance when everybody else has pushed it out. As I quote like this from my favorite movie, Batman Begins, as they quietly walk behind you and stab you in the heart.
Oh yeah, stab you in the heart.
Yeah, because you know what, when you get into sport, you have to understand the nuances, the aspects of it, and also the work it takes to get this level. Again, people think that you just got to put on take some pills and you just get rah. But there's more to it. And it can be difficult. It can be a time. It can affect your mind mentally. It can affect your body physically. It can affect you spiritually. And we go back again, it can affect you financially.
Yeah, financially, you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, financially.
And this thing was, if sponsorship be good, it helps cover the cost. Like if you want to go to a show, it covers your cost, your motel cost, if you go by a plane or by a car, you want to rent something, it'd be good. But like I said, you gotta be careful who you want to sponsor. You don't want some guy that says, "Hey, Lindsay, I saw your last show. You're really buff. You know what, Lindsay? If I do a favor for you, no, you sick freak."
Oh,
Yeah. Ladies have told me stories of how guys, and it's funny. There are guys out here who be talking junk about y'all women, but in the same time saying, I think you're really cute, Lindsay. Can I talk to you? And then say, no, I don't know her. I don't like no muscle women. But undercover haters and lovers at the same time.
yeah. It's so funny. It is, yeah. So you have to, really do, especially as a female, have to be careful out there. But with the right people, things can work really well with the right sponsors. But it's really just knowing that person is going to support you and they're not going to try any funny business behind the scenes, behind the curtain.
Yeah, you get Josh. Josh was like, hey, that's my wife. That's my wife.
He's like, I got that on lock. You guys better not try anything.
Don't push it on her. Don't. That's good. And this is one thing. If I could do this and I could sponsor an athlete, I would say like this. I would approach you like, Mrs. Contreras, we're very interested in your story, being your former nurse. You served your city as a firefighter, particularly your passion, your business sense of bodybuilding. We'd like to interest in sponsoring you, maybe help you in your upcoming competition, whatever you need from us. Also, our product, if there's a product that works in your process of bodybuilding, let us know. We just want to see you grow. We want to see no more for you just to be the best you be or be in the future, IFBB or anything you want to be. So, madam, if this is something that might interest you, if you feel like you're comfortable with it and something that you might think might be reasonable in your lifestyle as a competitor, please let us know.
The right way to approach it.
Yeah, I've been working on that. So,
you drive a heck of a bargain, George.
I wish I can do it. I'm broke as a joke. I would love to do that. I would love to, if I had like the means, the way to it, I love to sponsor an athlete or just, even right now, I'm showing my friend Eunice, I'm helping her sponsoring a jacket for the Triple O. And that's something I want to do because, doing this content. And again, this content helped me when I needed the most, especially dealing with my mom and stuff like that. And when she passed, I had nothing left. I don't have no kids. I don't have no wife. Most of my family members are grown or gone. I think I saw my great niece and nephews. I hadn't seen them in a long time because it was Christmas. This gives me a purpose when I do this content. When I talk about you ladies, when we try to do interviews, it just gives me something that is meaningful for me. And when you took the time out and say, yeah, let's do it. It's cool. I was really excited. I got a few more interviews coming up, and just hearing your ladies' stories and what really fires you, which really helps me out too, because I wouldn't have gone to places like Savannah or Tampa. I would just be here at home, my little home, not going anywhere, because I learned that you have to get out of your own way to make something out there in the world.
Oh, 100%. Cheesy enough. They say you miss all the shots you don't take, right? So same thing goes with business. It goes with bodybuilding. It's putting yourself out there, sometimes taking the uncomfortable step and just knowing it could work out really well, it could fail, but hey, it could work out really well, and just kind of leaning into the uncomfortable side of things has been something that's been really, really driving factor for me with the sport and I guess business and bodybuilding for me go hand in hand. There are a lot of unknowns. There are a lot of variables that it's like, hey, we'll figure this out as we go type thing. But you don't know unless you step out there outside of your comfort zone and try.
hmm The quote, one of my favorite movies from Batman Begins, when Thomas Wayne says, son Bruce says, Bruce, why do we fall? To learn to pick ourselves up. Because you're gonna sometimes you're gonna fail, but from those failures you learn something. Like from my interviews, I learn little things, or from conversations we're having, you ladies, and be in contact with you. I learn something every time. It's something about really reaching out and just hearing somebody's story that might even, like at one point after taking care of my mom, I was almost 500 pounds. And I started to work out a little bit. I can't do too much now. I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I try to do as much as I can. And really respecting your discipline and your consistency and just being regimental. Like I said again, I'm a big dude and I like my food, but sometimes I have to be smart. I know today I got some chicken wings and make some tater tots, but I was just, hey, I'm not a bodybuilder.
Oh yeah. I love it. Do what you can. There are always things, this goes out to anybody really. Because I've experienced this with clients and that have physical, things that they have to work around when it comes to injuries and just, disabilities and things like that. There's always something out there for you. And it's more about not forcing yourself, like what do they call it? What's that? I can't think of the phrase, but it's like forcing a square peg into a round hole. You can't force a square peg into a round hole. You have to find what works for you and work around what you have going on, but not necessarily try to do what other people are doing. It may not necessarily work. It's finding the right fit for you, whether that's with workouts or diet, anything.
Yeah, what works for you may not work for me, and what works for me may not work for you.
Exactly.
That's the difference between, especially with men and women. Our biology is different. Men, we can probably shed off a lot weight a lot faster because our bodies are meant for, we're hunter gatherers. We should do this and do that. Women, you buried our children, take care of our homes, but you have to put in more work. I think some ladies have to work twice as hard. And as I look at divisions, how they evolve and change over the years, and finding support, for yourself as an athlete. Like, this is a question I'm gonna ask you. What do you feel like you need the most to really help you reach your goal?
This is a good question. I really do think it's just having that support system, because there are tough moments, whether it's business or bodybuilding, shit can hit the fan, whether it's either category. And it's just leaning into the right types of people. But also those people need to understand what you're going through, because obviously taking advice from someone that doesn't understand what you're going through, they may give you some advice that may not necessarily fix the problem. So sometimes it's just your friends or family lending an ear, and listening to what you have going on, even though they may not know the right type of advice or support to give you. Just them being there and listening is a big piece. And really just that support, it's really hard to, bodybuilding is an individual sport, so they say, but it's really not. And because the people around you really do shape your outlook and just, I guess, the support that gets you to the end goal. There may be some times where you're ready to throw the towel in and they will kind of bring you back. Like, hey, no, these are your goals. You still got to do what you got to do. So more so just kind of leaning on others that understand and are able to give the right advice is a really big piece for me.
That's good. Good having people like your husband in your corner, Justin, Michelle, your sisters, your mom, many other women that you met in this process. It's good to have that support. It's good to have people that understand what you're going through. Even though they may not know much about it, they are willing to be understanding. And again, the people out there who don't have a problem with it, who thinking like, she's trying to be manly, yada, yada, yada. She's not trying to be manly. She's doing a sport that she loves. It's something that she likes. If you don't like it, then, this quote, Bernie Mac, boy, if people don't like you, fuck them. That's the thing is, you have to live for you. You can't live for nobody else. Because if you try to live for somebody else, you're not going to enjoy your life.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's something that I've kind of encountered too. It's, starting out, it was like, okay, let's get into shape. Let's start doing this fitness thing. Then it evolved into, okay, let's try to bodybuild and let's see where things take us. And that true happiness that I've found within the last couple of years honestly has come from loving the sport and getting to pour everything that I have every single day into the sport. So that's been something that's been really motivating and interesting just to learn about myself along the way. But again, having the right support system and having those people that drive you every single day to do the things that you may not necessarily want to do has been key, has been so key for me.
Yeah, your man Josh B, he'd be in the audience and say, "That's my baby, that's my wife, yay, yay." But then every guy sit and say, "Hey, yeah, your wife's kind of buff. Hey, shut your mouth on my wife." But yeah, that's the most important part. You do you do what you feel like that gets you to that goal, that reach that long mile, because it's tough. Not everybody is going to ever hit the stage like the Olympia or something like with all the classes. They don't have any other than the amateurs where they have it's a pro qualifier, but they don't have y'all in the main stage or the main show. But whatever you do it because the best of your ability. Be confident in yourself, believe in yourself, and don't let the naysayers who have issue, because those people don't have that mentality to make those sacrifices, make those choices. Temptation can be a bitch, but if you can fight that temptation, when you say, what, next time I go visit, someplace, hey, I don't have to touch that. When I go to the firehouse, hey guys, let's give me some salad and that's some good. I know those firefighters eat like crazy because they got to do a lot of work, and just really understand what you're trying to achieve is something that it's your goals and your dreams.
Yeah, it's your own destiny, it's your own path, and not every path is linear, and there are going to be setbacks that happen. Speaking to the temptations are crazy. They are there. For me, it's really interesting though. During prep, at least the last prep that I did, and going into this prep, I kind of do feel the same way. It's almost like the temptations just kind of wash away because that goal is just so big, and hey, like, I'm not going to let this cookie or brownie prevent me from reaching my goal. So it's almost like I won't even go near. I love to smell the brownies. Don't get me wrong. It was funny. Every time there was something sweet in front of me, I just wanted to smell it. I wasn't tempted to eat it. I just wanted to smell it. And I baked like crazy throughout the last prep. I was like making pumpkin bread. This was during, around Halloween, fall. And then the holidays, I was baking my little heart out. Even though I couldn't eat it, I wanted to smell it. And that was kind of like the little replacement I did was, if I can't eat this, I'm going to bake and give it to other people and let other people enjoy it.
That's always a story I interviewed a lady, Christine Ware. She turned pro the same year you competed. And she told me a story where she had, she served the military. She's a nurse. She's married. She has her daughter. And what she would bake for her family. She would make her husband and her daughter eat in front of her. And I met Christine. I got to meet her when I went to Tampa. We also hung out because my oldest niece lives in Atlanta. She lives in Atlanta. And I went to visit her. We worked out together. I did pretty good with a man with bad knees, But yeah, that's the thing is those temptations are not that important between your goal to achieve that IFB Pro card. So we got here a comment from my man. This is from Dorian Hamer. Hello, says, "Happy Friday! Happy Friday to you, Dorian. Appreciate that. So we're not going to hold her much too longer, and we appreciate her time. And we wish her all the best of luck. She's going to say she's going to do the USA's. If not, she's in Texas. Nationals around the corner. I know Justin would love to go back to Texas again. There's opportunities. And it's about that time and process you take. I mean, this is a tough sport. You have to be. I say like this. When I reach out to ladies to do interviews, I say you have to be willing and wanting. And that's the same thing. You have to be willing to want them to do this.
Yeah, you've got to enjoy all of the aspects, whether good, bad, challenging, rewarding, not so rewarding. You have to love the process. And really it's not necessarily wanting to get to that goal, yes, and get that pro card, but it's the experience. It's been the experience that has been, and who the person you become along the way, that's been the biggest reward, honestly.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Just learning more about yourself every single day.
That's the thing. That's just winning that card or just get on the stage. That's your reward. And it benefits you just to keep on pushing. No matter how much, somebody, maybe hubby might say, "Hey, baby, I got a discount on donuts."
Oh,
He
he was
does.
mad at me because I baked so much and brought all of this bad food around the house that I couldn't eat. And he's like, "You've got to stop baking all this amazing food. I'm gonna get fat." I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's funny. It was one of our running jokes. So we'll see how this year goes. Hopefully, I won't bake too much, and he won't be like, "Hey, stop."
Yeah, he'll be get on the plane and like say, yeah, see, I just gotta go. Yeah, my wife's baking again. She's in, so we have to feed it to the dog and neighborhood kids. So yeah. But that's the thing is that's a thing about bodybuilding. There's so much involved in it. Again, we go back to the discipline, the consistency, the patience, the time, and the work you got to put in. And again, it's not for everybody. It's not meant for everybody. And you have to understand that again, you are an athlete. This is your sport. This is your passion.
Yeah, and live it every day. Every day you're a bodybuilder. And another saying from Michelle, obviously so much inspiration from her over the last couple of years, but there's no such thing as an off season. This is our improvement season. So we treat all year like prep. There's obviously times here and there where we kind of indulge in for special occasions like vacations and that type of thing, anniversaries, or just rare occasions where you have people from out of town coming in and you're like, hey, I'm going to enjoy a meal with these people because I don't get to see them very often. So it's an improvement season every single day, working to put the best version of yourself forward and really making that mark, because the details do come from those days in the improvement season versus calling it the off season. I can do whatever in the off season. It's cool. No, everything it's prep year round. It's just, hey, like I have more food versus I have less food sometimes.
That's the goal. You realize that you want to take this season of time to make those improvements. So when it's time for you to hit that stage, you bring all the aesthetics you want. You want to bring in the good width of your back. You want to bring that fullness in your quads and your legs. You want to look like you can the next day step on a pro stage, and that's the thing important for you as an athlete, and just like I said again, you're still brand new, you're still fresh and wet.
Fresh meat.
Yeah, fresh meat. I mean, you ever saw the episode of the Boondocks, the guy, the Booty Warrior said, I like you and I want you. We can do it the easy way and the hard way. The choice is yours. I feel like I want to call myself the bodybuilder booty warrior, like I say, I call you Chris Handsome. I know I watch a lot of TV shows, things like that. So, folks, we're not gonna hold Lindsay much longer. We appreciate the time she give us. Wish her best of luck. Anybody want to shout out while you're here?
Oh, just I guess my support system, my amazing support system, my husband, my family, my best friend Michelle, pushing me every single day in that gym, pushing me through the hard times, giving me advice. She's my rock during all of this, as is my husband, of course. But she's been in there with me in the trenches every single workout that we do together, every single session we train together, pushing me to be better every single day, and just overall kind of inspiring me to be a better version of me, be a better bodybuilder every single day. So got to give a lot to her. She's like one of my biggest inspirations.
So kind of like one of the favorite movie trilogies, series is Rocky. So she's kind of like your Mick. Like you remember Rocky in Rocky 5, we sit in the gym, he's looking at old ghost to pass up here, Mick, saying, "If you get hurt, and you see yourself going down, you hear a little angel in your soul and says, look, you bitch, Michelle loves you."
Gotta get back in that ring.
You hear no bell, So So folks, I'd like to thank my guests that were here. Shout out to Josh Simpkins, shout out to Dorian Hamer. Anyone who watched this video, follow Lindsay in our process. We hope to see her at the USA's. Support any lady sport of bodybuilding. Her friends, many other competitors who do this sport for a passion and understand the factors of it. Be genuine in your interest, guys. Reach out. Don't be that weird guy. And here's I say like this: you get more with a silk glove than an iron fist. I know what you're doing with that iron fist. So be nice, be special. She has a husband. I don't want to be hearing a husband flying an airplane in somebody's house because he messed with his wife. Jumping out there and say, "Hey, I saw what you said, my wife. She's my woman, man. But he's a good guy. He's like, hey, keep your eyes to yourself. You can look, but you can't touch.
Exactly. Can look, but you can't touch. We off the market.
Yeah, that's the thing is, y'all good women. It's just hard to find a good woman. I live in a small town, and I'm related to half the town, so I gotta be careful. I don't want you have no cousins. I don't want to be like, no, that's not me. So anyway, folks, thank Lindsay Contreras. Thank you for your time. Wish her best of luck in the coming year of the USA's. If not, there's quite a few other shows that get a full qualification. She's in Texas, so it's nationals. Give her more time. Maybe make those adjustments depending on who's the judge or what advice to give her. And I wish her best of luck, man.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on.
Like this, the quote, my favorite hero, The Dark Knight from Batman Begins. You never have to. I appreciate your thank you, but you never have to, because you know what? This gives me my purpose to hear your stories, to share it, and see how you grow as an athlete. So I wish you all the best of luck. I appreciate it from you. You're taking time out and talk with me. Best of luck to you. We can't wait to see Michelle again. Yeah, well, I can't wait to see Michelle again. I'm sorry, I can't help myself again. Oh, and before I go, somebody has to say something to you. He says this, Lindsay, I want to tell you something. You are beautiful.
Love it.
I'm sorry about him. I try to keep him in control, but he can't keep himself.
Keep him under wraps.
Yeah, I keep his cage as long as I can, but he's a very dominant personality. He completes me. So anyway, folks, we'll say best of luck to Lindsay. Catch her at the USA's. Also, there's a couple of shows you can probably do. Wish her best of luck. Shout out to her coach, shout out to her husband, shout out to anybody who supports her. Reach out in genuine interest. Follow her social media platforms. If somebody who's interested, maybe sponsor her as an athlete. Have a plan. Don't be that weird guy. Anyway, folks, this is Mal Always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. We are a month into 2026. Have a good day. God bless you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And good night, good luck, and peace.
Thank you, George, for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you for coming on. And